Alright, so section 1.7, this is about like the second part of it, I guess. And we're going to talk about surface area and volume. Now, this is right in the book. I mean, I literally scanned this 5 minutes ago, okay, and stuck it up on here. Was it loud? Did it disturb you while you're taking the quiz? Okay, good. So anyway, let's talk about these things right here. We've already talked about what they were, right? We recognize what the shapes are and that kind of stuff. But now what we're going to do is we're going to find two things. We're going to find the surface area and we're going to find the volume of these type of figures. So let's talk about a prism first. Now I'm going to throw a couple extra things in here, all right, that I think, I don't know, maybe you'll think it makes it a little bit easier and better. Maybe you won't, but we'll see what happens. This T right here, if you look down here, it tells you what it represents. T for total, okay, that's good enough. But what I would do, I would just say I would use SA for surface area. So if you're going to do a prism, this is how I like to break it down. And I'm going to show you what these things are. And basically, you can memorize this if you want to. This is how I think of finding the surface area of a prism. Let me get a block so we have a little bit of a visual aid here. All right, here's a nice little prism. Okay, here's a prism right here. We want to find the surface area. What does that mean to find the total surface area? Well, it means to find the areas of all the sides, okay? All the outside, trying to find the area of everything. Follow me on that? That's what we're trying to find. So if you look, the prism has a top and it has a bottom. So let's pretend we have it sitting like this, all right? There's the top and there's the bottom. So what kind of a figure is this? This is a rectangular prism, so what kind of a figure is that on top? What is the base?
A side.
What is it? Come on. It's rectangles. It's a rectangle, okay? It's just a rectangle. What shape is it? It's a rectangle, isn't it? All right, so what are you going to do? You're going to find the area of the top and the bottom. Tell me something about the top and the bottom of this. They're going to be exactly the same, okay? So what I do, I like to just kind of break it down like this. Because this works for any kind of a figure, not just a rectangular prism. It works for all kinds of prisms. If you write it like this, it's the I just write top and bottom. Now they put 2b. Why do they put 2b? Because it's twice the area of the base. You just have to realize that b represents the area of the base. So surface area, I just find the top and the bottom. All right, so once you find one, the other one's going to be exactly the same. It's not like you have to do two different math problems, right? You find the top, the bottom's going to be the same, you double it, and that's the top and the bottom. What about the sides? This is something that they don't talk about here, but I like to talk about. I got this from another book, but I think it's very, very useful. I call it the lateral surface area. Lateral means sides, okay? We've used that word before. So I've got the top and the bottom, no big deal. What about all the sides? I could find all four of them individually and add them up. Here's a better way to do this. I could take the perimeter of the base, okay, add up the distance around the base and multiply it by how tall it is, or the height. So that's what the lateral surface area is. It's the perimeter, I'll just put P, the perimeter of the base times the height. This works for all kinds of prisms. Let me get another one out. For instance, if I wanted to find the lateral surface area of this is 6 sides that I'm holding up right here. It's 6 sides. Instead of finding each face individually, I just find the perimeter of the base, so just add up all the sides and then multiply how tall it is. That's all the sides all together. That's what lateral surface area means. Does that make any sense? So if you look at this, which one's the lateral surface area? It would be that thing right there, wouldn't it? The perimeter, that's the P for perimeter, times the height. Okay? The thing is, this is like real specific to this one. This is specific to this, to this, to this, to this. We can do some general equations where you don't have to memorize a whole bunch of specific formulas for every style of solid that we're going to do. All right? So the total surface area is just the top, the bottom, and what else? The lateral surface area. And you just have to understand, in order to find the lateral surface area, it's just the perimeter of the base times the height. So I just add up all the sides of the base, multiply by how tall it is, and that's all the sides. That's going to come in handy when we do the cylinder in a second. All right? So that's why I wanted to teach you this. It's really the same exact formula, except I like to look at it a little bit different. And you'll see in a second why this comes in a little bit handy. All right? Does that make sense? So if I want to find the total surface area, find the top, find the bottom, find the lateral. How do you find the lateral? Just find the perimeter, multiply it by the height, add all that stuff together, and you've got your total surface area. All kinds of ways you could explain these, all kinds of ways you could do these problems, but that works for me. Let's stick with surface area, then we'll go to volume, okay? Look at this one right here. Let's go to the cylinder. All right, let's go to cylinder. It's really the same kind of thing. I want you to see where this equation comes from. If you want to look at this equation and memorize it, that's fine with me. I don't think you have to. I think you just learn a general way of finding the surface area of a prism, and that works with cylinder too. So it's not like you have to memorize two separate equations. Watch, I'll show you why. Because look, surface area is the top, the bottom, and the lateral, correct? So what kind of shape? This was a rectangle. What kind of shape is the top of this? And it's a circle. Good. And let me pull out the cylinder that I have here. All right, so here's a cylinder. We're trying to find the area of this whole entire thing. The top, the bottom, and all the sides. But look at all the sides now. They're all curved, right? It's not straight up and down. So the top and the bottom. So how do I find the area of the top? It's a circle. What is the area of the top? What's just the formula for the area of a circle? No, area. Pi r squared. Okay, area is pi r squared. So check this out. Watch. There's pi r squared. Why in the world do they have a 2 in front of it?
Because it's the top and the bottom.
It's the top and the bottom. That's right. Okay. Did you really have to memorize this whole formula? Not really. You just had to look at it and say, okay, the surface area is the top, the bottom, and the sides, right? Lateral surface area. Yeah.
For our tests, are we going to have this chart up there? So
Nope. You're going to have to know how to do it. You're going to have to know how to do it. Now, look, the reason I'm going through all this mess right here is that you don't necessarily have to have every single one of these things memorized. I'm trying to show you an easier way to remember how to find the areas of these things, okay? That's what I'm trying to do anyway. I don't know if I'm accomplishing it, but I'm trying, all right? So look, that's pi r squared, that's pi r squared. What about the sides? Well, how do we find lateral surface area? We do what? Find the perimeter of the base. But what is this base this time? It's a what?
Circle.
It's a circle. How do we find the perimeter of a circle? Give me a word. Give me a math word. Circumference. That's right. So what do I do to find the lateral surface area? Find the circumference and multiply it by the height. Check it out. Look, what's the circumference of a circle? 2 pi r, right? Multiply that by the height. Did you really have to memorize this thing right here? Not necessarily. All you had to do was look at it and say, oh, that's a circle, so the area is pi r squared. Well, double it, because that's top and bottom. What about the sides? All around the sides, what's that? That's lateral surface area, so that's the perimeter of the base. What's the perimeter of a circle? Circumference, 2 pi r, times the height, h, and I got it. Did that make any sense at all? So if you just have a general understanding of how to find the surface area of a prism or a cylinder, it's really the same thing. It's all this right here. That's really all it is, isn't it? Surface area is find the top, find the bottom, and then find the sides. You could do that with any figure. You could do that with this thing right here. Right? Find the area of the top, the bottom, and then the lateral surface area. You don't have to have one specific equation to find the area of this thing. All right. Now, right now, you don't know how to find the area of a hexagon. Later on in the book, you're going to learn how to do that. But I'm just saying, in general, that's all you got to do. Anytime you have a prism. Look at this prism right here. That's a prism, isn't it? It's a triangular prism. So I want to find the surface area of this. So I find the top and the bottom. Well, I don't have to memorize a brand new formula. I already know a formula. What is the top? What kind of figure is this? It's a triangle. What's the area of a triangle? Base times, yeah, 1/2 the base times the height. So I already know how to do that, don't I? So I find this area, I find this area, that's the top and the bottom, and now I find the lateral surface area. How do I find the lateral surface area? Perimeter of the base times the height. Add them all up, and I got it. Do I have to have a special formula memorized for something like this compared to something like this? Nope. It's all the same general formula, isn't it? All right? Does that make any sense? Do you understand what I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to make it easier for you. I really am. Than memorizing all these specific formulas like this. Listen.
So when you do it, like if we're doing that one and we found it, the perimeter of the area of the the top and the bottom,
Right.
and we find that, and then we find the lateral surface area. We just add them.
That's right. It's exactly right. That's it right here. See the T, I just put SA for surface area, okay? But total surface area, that's the SA. You just find the area of the top and the bottom. Now, of course, the top and the bottom would be exactly the same, so you just double it, right? You find one and you double it. And then you just add the lateral surface area. How do you find the lateral surface area? Perimeter of the base times the height. Make sense? So you can now find the area of a whole bunch of different figures without memorizing each individual equation. And that takes a lot of memorization out of it. I really think it does. All right, let's keep going. Now, let's look at pyramid and cone. Okay, they're a little bit different. And I got a pyramid and a cone. Here's a pyramid right here. Now watch. I'm not going to go through all this, but watch. If I had this pyramid right here, let's say the base was the exact same. Wait, listen. Let's say the base was exactly the same. Is it the same? Oh, yeah, it is. Look at that. And the height's not the same, though. I wish they would have made this height the same. But anyway, let's pretend that this prism right here has the same base as this, which they actually do. All right? And let's just pretend it's the same height. So what would we do here? We'd find the area of the top and the bottom, right? And we'd find all that kind of stuff.
And divide it.
Oh, actually, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking volume. Let's back up a little bit. We'll get to that in a second, okay? Let's get back to this. Look at this thing right here. If I want to find the surface area of this, does it have a top and a bottom? No, it just has a what? Just has a bottom. What kind of figure is this bottom right here? It's a square. Does every single pyramid have a square bottom? No. In fact, I have a pyramid in my little box of goodies here. What shape is the base of this pyramid?
Triangle.
It's a triangle. So you really wouldn't necessarily, well, they just put the area of the base, okay? So you just find the area of the base. Now watch what you do here, though. What's all this stuff? What's all that right there? Well, I'll just show you what I think might be an easier way to do it. You could find the perimeter of the base, multiply it not by the height this time, but this is called the slant height. Watch. If I'm going up, let's say you're at the top, you want to slide down the pyramid. Whee! Okay, you go down like this. Okay, that would be straight down to the bottom like this would be the slant height. So
Varsity soccer, you are now dismissed. Bus will be departing at 2:15. Thank you.
All right, you'll have to,
Homework, right?
yeah, we do have homework. Look right there. Look for Friday. Oh, it is on the board too. Yeah, I did put it on the board.
Oh, it's gonna be on YouTube.
It'll be on YouTube, but it's on the board right now.
Cool beans.
The actual.
We don't even have that many problems.
Okay. It's not that bad. I tell you what, let's go through. I'm not going to go through a big explanation on this. Let me just talk about this. If I want to find the total surface area, what does that be? It's the area of the base. How do I find all the sides? If I take 1/2, what do you think the P stands for? Perimeter. Okay, the perimeter of the base. All right, so it's the perimeter of the base times the L. Now let's be careful with this. This is one thing you need to see. L is the slant height. The slant height is the distance from here down the side of it. It's different than the regular height. The regular height would be straight down from the top, straight down to the bottom. Does that make sense? That's a different height. Okay, so the slant height is the one that's going down the face of it. Make sense? Really what it is, it's 1/2 the base times the height, but 4 times. All right, that's where you get the perimeter, right? Anyway, I'm not going to go through all that. Right here, what's this? If I want to find the surface area, look at this. I find the area of the base, which is pi r squared. Now, this is one thing we're not really going to go over, but this is something you need to know, that the surface area, or the lateral surface area, is pi r L. L being what? The slant height, not the regular height, the slant height. Okay? Thank you. All right, so that's what the area is there. Look, the pi r squared is just this. Really, all you have to memorize is the lateral surface area of a cone is pi r L. Make sense? The lateral surface area of a pyramid is 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height. One more. Watch this. If I took a sphere, a ball, here's one right here, and if I cut it right down the middle, then I would get something that looks like this. Okay, if I cut that ball, it would look like this. It would be a circle. Guess how many circles it takes to wrap completely around this ball? It takes 4 of them. I'm running out of time. It takes 4 of them that wraps around this ball. So guess what it is? One circle is pi r squared. Why the 4? Because it takes 4 of them to wrap around the circle. Let's talk about volume here in a second.